Welcome to another session of Let's Talk NRM, our monthly program on natural resource management. This comes to you from MBMA, the Meghalaya Basin Management Agency, under the CLEM project, the Community-Led Landscape Management Project. Our topic of discussion today is Meghalaya's forest wealth, forests and environment. Meghalaya has been endowed with natural forests, so much so that Meghalaya is among the top 5 Indian states with forest cover as per geographical area. It also has a huge flora and fauna richness. It has been identified as one of the biodiversity hotspots in the world. But yet again, since 2019, there has been a decline in forest cover in Meghalaya. The use of science and technology in not only managing the forest wealth, but also letting the community use this forest wealth, and yet sustainably, is what is the order of the day. To discuss these and what the government of Meghalaya is doing to manage the forests and to help the community use the forest, we have with us none other than the Minister of Environment and Forests, Shri K Sangma, with us today. Government of Meghalaya prepares 5 to 10-year plans for forest management and implementation. What are the focus areas for the present decadal plan in terms of both community forests and state-owned forests?
The forest management plan, as you know, these are dependent on the working schemes which are prepared by the government. The forest management plan, as I already mentioned, is a way and mean to have a scientific method, so-called scientific method to extract forest produce.
Right.
And there are many challenges that the government is facing in the preparation of these working schemes. But here I just wanted to give my take on things. I feel that it is high time for us to start reimagining things when it comes to our forests. We have seen studies where it is very clearly mentioned that it suggests that forests which are natural forests, they offer us better ecosystem services in terms of carbon sequestration,
Right.
rather than those forests which have been either reforested or afforested. I feel we need to set our priorities straight because I think we need to reimagine things in a way of more towards conservation rather than towards carrying on with how things have been in the past in terms of an economy that has always relied on extraction from our forests, be it in terms of mining, be it in terms of everything that we extract from forests.
So in 1972, with statehood, also came the blessing of the 6th schedule.
Yes.
And the 6th schedule permitted the local population to use the produce of the forests in their own traditional ways. What is the government doing in making sure that there is science and technology used and also training the local population so that the forests can be used in a sustainable way?
This is, of course, a very big challenge for us. Out of the 76% of our forest cover, for us as a government, we only have ownership of roughly about 5 point something percent of that belongs to the government in the form of reserve forests or national parks. It becomes a very big challenge for us where our interventions, where we can very freely move around and work on, are confined to just that 5%. But despite that, I think that our efforts are on to spread that kind of awareness amongst the ADCs. We are always there to provide that kind of support. Apart from that, I think what you said about the knowledge and to handhold them in the sense of management of these critical forests, that is something that is extremely important. And well, I'd like to give you an example of our community reserved forests that we have in Meghalaya, where we have about 75 or 76 amount of community reserve forests that we have in Meghalaya, which are forested areas which are managed by local villagers. And I think this has been an extremely successful model, and people have appreciated this. And the interaction between the villagers and our forest department has really yielded very positive results in terms of the mindset of people, in terms of protecting assets, in terms of promoting that sense of responsibility and that sense of ownership that they must have towards the forest, and also in terms of the kind of ecosystem services that these forests could offer to them. So there is a monetary value to that kind of
Right.
services which is being offered. I feel that this model is something which will pick on gradually over the years, because a lot of people, a lot of villagers have seen this, how um, how successfully it's working, and there's a lot of positive response in terms of people wanting to come forward and give their forests. So we don't take over those forests. The forest remains with the
Community.
villagers and the community. I think that's been a very successful model, and this is something that we are very passionate about, because it's not just a traditional knowledge, but it's also the fact that these are the guardians of this biodiversity that we have at these small plant levels. That kind of rich knowledge needs to be preserved. All this is basically, in line with this new paradigm that we are envisioning for our state, which is called the environment state.
So there's another sustainable development goal, the life underwater. But in the Niti Aayog website, right from 2018 to 2020, there is no data uploaded as far as the life underwater is concerned. Where is the problem?
Oh, the problem is there. There's no doubt about that, Rahul. We do have a lot of problems in terms of life underwater because of mining that takes place. And the unscientific nature of the mining has resulted in a lot of acid mine drainage, which has resulted in a lot of these rivers becoming highly acidic. Now, that acidic nature comes from the coal mining areas, and the highly alkaline nature of the water comes from the limestone mines. So it's a very heady cocktail, and it goes on to the rivers that we have, namely one I'll just mention about, the Luka River in
Right.
Gentia Hills,
Right.
which in fact turned to a very, very weird blue color,
Blue color,
right?
right.
So that was because of the acid mine drainage that was taking place, combined with the highly alkaline leakage that was taking place from the limestone mines. Now, what we have done very recently is that there has been a pilot project where we have brought in the process of phycoremediation, which uses algae to treat this water to bring about more of a pH balance, somewhere around 6.5 to 7.2 or something like that.
Right.
So this pilot project, which we have initiated in Gentia Hills, has shown amazing results.
That's good.
And we have seen that the Luka River today is slowly getting rejuvenated. So I really believe that this is the kind of technology that we require. We are very hopeful that this is going to change things in a very,
That's
very
wonderful.
drastic manner.
That's wonderful. Meghalaya has about 70% forest cover. And managing this forest cover, making it grow, is certainly of concern. And how do you plan to go forward with this?
I have always been advocating this, and I continue to do so, that we need to change our approach to a forest first economy. Our economy has always been based on a very extractive nature, and we have never kept our forests uh, in the foreground. It's always been relegated to the background. Nobody has really thought about the kind of ecosystem services that forests offer. This is what, for me as a forest minister, that I look at how we can bring a forest first approach. Our forest department has initiated steps to have a biodiversity heat map. So this is going to be a heat map which will very, very clearly establish the kind of carbon stock that we have, the kind of inventory that we have. We monetize that in terms of, okay, these are the stocks that we have, and this is the kind of services that the carbon stock that we have are offering in terms of carbon sequestration, in terms of us being one of the most carbon neutral states in the country.
You touched upon it briefly, but I just want you to delve a little more time into what I'm going to ask you now about. With these industries growing in Meghalaya, came about this concern of greenhouse gases.
Yes.
And at the same time, Meghalaya has a large forest area.
Yes.
So how are we placed as a state as far as carbon capture, state level carbon capture is concerned vis-a-vis carbon production?
We're close to being carbon neutral. And I think that for us, it is a very difficult choice as a government because, as of now, as I said, our economy has been progressing in that extractive manner. A lot of people will probably be very critical of the fact that, being a state that's blessed with so much of biodiversity, with so much of natural resources, we are extracting those natural resources, adding to our carbon footprint. Until and unless we have a forest-first economy, that will continue, and we will keep spiraling down that path.
But then we are doing well, aren't we, overall?
I think we are doing well as a state. I would still say there's so much more to be done, so much. We're not even, 10% of where we should be, ideally.
Wonderful. That makes us, as citizens, very happy for that coming from the Minister of Forests and Environments, that the Minister of Forests and Environments is not happy with the present state.
Definitely not.
Wonderful talking to you, sir.
No,
and
my pleasure.
thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
So there you are, viewers. You just heard the Minister of Environment and Forests elaborate on the initiatives being taken by the government to preserve and conserve the forest wealth of Meghalaya. And it's not only about the forest wealth, also the underwater wealth, the biodiversity that the government and the Department of Environment and Forests is so concerned about. Meghalaya as an environment state is a wonderful idea, and the Minister has touched upon that. Let us see that unfold, and I'm sure there will be better days ahead for Meghalaya. We sign off today with this and promise to come back again next month with another episode of Let's Talk NRM. This came to you from MBMA, the Meghalaya Basin Management Agency under the CLEM project, the Community-Led Landscape Management Project.